posting this negative thing, right? And people perceive this negative thing. I think it would be reasonable that I should be held accountable in the same way that some people would say that, well, you know what, this mono thing, Miguel de Casa, he's doing it, he's responsible for it, he's constantly blogging about mono, so therefore we should, for example, in the guise of Boycott Novell, go and be very critical of this person. You know, it sounds like, you know, the boot's on the other foot right now, and, you know, it seems... I mean, do you think that's a fair... Do you think I'm being unreasonable here?
I think you just kind of moved the goalposts here, because you're actually trying to change the question to one where linkage is being assimilated to a person actually writing the content. I think there are all sorts of companies, even news sites, that actually forbid linking to them. I think for this reason, because they don't want to be associated with people whose tone or, you know, sort of negative message, they don't want to be associated with people who might be using their content in a negative way. And I think you have to draw the line between things that are right as a personal expression and people who perhaps use that as a... No,
all I'm saying, and I apologize if it seems like I'm trying to, you know, ambush you or move the goalpost. That was not my intention. My intention was that you said that you felt like, you know, this is somebody, you know, goes and does something negative, but it's surrounding content. It's deeply interlinked with what's going on at Boycott Novell, and you said, you know, nothing to do with me, whereas you are the Boycott Novell guy. I mean, the original Boycott Novell guy is left because he doesn't want to do Boycott Novell anymore because he disagrees with it. You are the Boycott Novell guy. You're the man who's behind this project. You're the primary face of Boycott Novell. So therefore, there is a responsibility that, you know what, if something negative happens and people very, very much disagree with it, surely they're going to come and criticize yourself in the same way that, like I said, people will criticize Miguel because he's the kind of the face of mono.
I've actually come publicly and actually trying to distance myself from certain people before. There are all sorts of people who link, even in their names to the site. I have no idea what these people are, but they try to sort of give the impression that they're associated with the website. And it is problematic for the same reason, because people will think that it has something to do with me, which it isn't.
And in the interest of full disclosure, I've seen through some of the logs, some of the IRC logs, when, you know, some of the, you know, I think one of these spammers, as an example, you know, you said, I think this guy writes stupid posts and, you know, it's not helping us. But it was a comment on IRC. I think what people are looking for from you is for you to go out there and help stop these people. For you, if these people look up to you, if you say to them, you know, you're being a dumbass, then they may stop doing it, right?
Yeah, maybe. Maybe.
I mean, they may not. I mean, you know, if they're sending 2,000 messages to a site.
I guess what it comes down to really would be, if you believe that Boycott Novell is inciting people to do this kind of thing. Is that what you're saying, Jono? Because I mean, if that's the case, then Roy does have a responsibility. But believe me, if people started spamming links to my content, and I create a lot of content, it's not my problem if they are. It's their problem. I'm a victim as much as the person they're spamming.
I think my only concern is that where I see there is a responsibility is that it's not just one spammer, and it's not just a small amount of spam. Right. It's a repeated amount of spam. And again, I'm not saying that Roy's got any connection to this. I just think it would be, there's kind of a public responsibility in the same way that, you know, like I say, if Canonical decided to do something terrible in the eyes of the open source community, I'd feel, even if I didn't want to respond, I'd feel a very personal responsibility that I'm clarifying this to the community that Ubuntu is part of, and is, you know, the wider free software community. Right. I think that's all I'm saying. And it may be, this problem could be solved by just a very, very clear set of blog posts on Boycott Novell just saying, look, these people, we are not associated with them. And then when people make allegations of this, you can say, look, we're not associated with these people. This is not what we like, you know, and then it clears the message.
One of the issues is the very same people who try to line it aside to find the messages being linked to are not going to be able to see these disclaimers. So unless you actually put it at every single page at the top, people who end up on the website will not be exposed to these facts, these people who are linking to the site. So that's one of the issues, and this is one of the reasons I just thought, why make this, you know, why display to all the readers specific messages about something which may be relevant to a person who came for the first time to a specific type of post somewhere. It's not going to be very helpful. So
yeah, I mean, you can't be expected to respond to every spam. I mean, that's just completely unreasonable. But that doesn't mean that no action is acceptable as well, in my mind.
What suggested an action, though?
I just think it would be, you know, as the official face of a Boycott Novell. I think it would be very, very healthy for you to go out and say, you know, in these with these controversial people, these are people are not representing the views of the Boycott Novell project.
I don't even know these people, to be honest, and they probably.
I'll link you to the article.
Sure.
Okay. I'll send you the link, and then and if you decide to do that, then that's your decision as well. We're rapidly running out of time. One thing I just wanted to ask, I've got one question which I've been really wanting to ask you out of all of the questions, and the thing I'm most confused about. As you know, Roy, I've been hanging out in the Boycott Novell channel for a while, and it's mainly because I'm just curious about the project, and I originally invited you onto a phone call, which unfortunately couldn't happen, I'm not a supporter of the project, but I just wanted to understand, because I believe that everybody's got a reason, everybody's got a drive for what they do, and I firmly believe that I believe your heart's in the right place. I believe that you are passionate and you believe in free software and you want to protect it, and you feel that Boycott Novell is your contribution to that cause, in the same way that some people write code and some people translate software and whatever else. But when I saw those Twitter messages, when I saw the Identica messages, when I searched for your name on Google, there's this overbearing sense of negativity towards you and the project. And my question is, why do it? I mean,
you're busy getting a PhD.
I mean, sure, there's flowers to be sniffed, there's music to be listened to. I mean, surely your life is unpleasant with all of this negativity flowing around.
It's that's more of a convenient illusion you try to pass across here. So, the matter of fact, if you look at the population as a whole, there is quite a bit of support. And if you actually look at my contributions, or if you Google my name, you probably will find positive things, not negative things, unless you're trying to find the negative things by perhaps putting a sort of a negative query. So
I typed in your name and Boycott Novell, that's all, and I'd invite our listeners to do the same. I mean, maybe I'm seeing the wrong bit of the internet. The internet's a big place, so
okay. Yeah. Various things to do with libel as well. One of the things that we did speak about at the beginning of the podcast is personal attacks. So some of these criticisms do not come from Novell, do not come from the Linux community. They actually come from Microsoft and supporters of Microsoft. And various people who will spread libel, various people who will change names and give the illusion that there are lots of people. And you've had people trying to silence by sending letters and by doing all sorts of intimidation techniques. Commonly known, not just done to myself, but done to other people as well.
You've been DDoSed attacked.
Yeah, that was in I think around May or so. I think. Yeah.
So I mean, there's clearly people who are not happy with you. I don't think that's necessarily that could be a sign that you're fighting a good fight. To be honest with you.
But it could spin both ways.
But again, I think Jono asks a good question. Why do you do it, Roy?
It probably was a choice I made in 2006. It's probably a bit of a long story. I'll try to make it short. I was mostly posting positive things about GNU Linux back then. Lots of advocacy and very polite, very kind of clean and everything else. The matter of fact is, even if you do these things, lots of activities like that, the sites would know you're being attacked at some stage personally if you actually make a significant contribution. I'm not the only person to have encountered a state where you, for just advocating free software, you will be personally attacked, slandered, and even intimidated. I could go into specifics and tell you all kinds of lies that people were spreading about me and trying to send letters around and trying to get me into trouble. And this is the time when I decided I need to kind of explore these things and get to the bottom of them, because lots of other people did not do that. After